A mysterious mid-century American inventor whose flying saucer-shaped gravitators attracted the attention of the government's top brass.
Townsend Brown.
Townsend Brown.
Townsend Brown.
Townsend Brown.
Townsend Brown.
Okay, Townsend Brown. I'm going to look that up.
Life's work was classified by the Navy and was shrouded by intentionally seeded disinformation.
And so now we can discount it. Nothing to see here.
Right.
He was at the birth of all of the intelligence agencies.
Your CIA.
Shh. The holy grail of physics involves the unification of the four fundamental forces, which includes finding a missing link between electromagnetism and gravity. Einstein actually spent the latter half of his career trying to solve for this mathematically. This spooky inventor may have experimentally discovered this long-sought link.
We're all going against the wind.
Quieted down because nobody ever got anywhere, or quieted it down because they did get somewhere and it went black.
What is the role of extremely high voltages and extremely low currents? What is its role in the possible generation of synthetic gravitational fields? And what he observed was that when a high voltage was applied to the Crookes tube, he noticed that the wire conducting the voltage jumped.
The Byfield-Brown effect is an anomalous physics principle at the heart of this story. The basic experiment involves placing a neutral insulator, or dielectric, between two metal plates, one positively charged and the other negative. For greater thrust, the positive plate should be smaller than the negative plate. When a high direct current in the megavolt range is applied to the system, the negative plate starts to chase the positive plate. This happens even if the positive plate is placed skywards. In other words, the negative to positive thrust seems to beat gravity.
And talks about anomalous phenomena that happen when you get into extremely high voltages and extremely low currents.
While serving as a patron for Townsend Brown's experimental gravity work, Bonson holds the 1957 Chapel Hill Conference, the goal of which was to bring together the world's top theoretical physicists to understand gravity. The whole conference is sponsored by Wright Airfield. That's right, what became Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and the place that is perhaps the epicenter of all UFO mythology, starting with Roswell. Also learned from Townsend Brown's daughter, Linda, that the inventor would constantly speak of biblical UFOs and aliens behind closed doors and with his family. He was also genuinely obsessed with time travel.
I think he worried a lot about how humans were going to react when they finally had to grow up and accept the fact that they're not alone.
The 98-year-old French aerospace veteran confirmed the bizarre anomalous effect he witnessed with Browns, an effect that flew in the face of conventional science.
The tests are very, very, very tricky. You do so many things in vacuum. Finally, it worked. So that was a positive result.
As Brown said after the experiment himself, in short, it appears there is strong evidence that the Byfield-Brown effect does exist in the negative to positive direction in a vacuum of at least 10 to the negative 6th torr. The residual thrust is several orders of magnitude larger than the remaining ambient ionization can account for. Someday men will travel in space just as easily as we are sailing now. Great ships will silently push away from Earth, just as easy as the sailboat pushed away from the dock. The story is a vindication of Brown, a resounding defense of his work, one that points to a new paradigm of science that was proven experimentally and witnessed by the highest levels of American government just to get sequestered, obfuscated, and go into deep black aerospace. And if you're interested in Bob Lazar, I'd say Brown's work even provides a better explanation of the whole Bob Lazar story than Bob Lazar himself.
Musk is creepy, so he confirms that he's uploaded his consciousness to the cloud and had a conversation with himself. And we all remember when he put Neuralink in the monkey brain and had him playing Pong, but look at this. Now he's tested his first human subject with Neuralink. And I seen something about Greek gematria that I had to check out myself. So I did it. I typed Neuralink in the Greek gematria calculator, and look what I found. Look at all these. We've got the great beast, Muhammad, and last but not least, Titan, and the number of Antichrist. And then look at all these. All the way across the board. There's a lot of speculation that he might be involved with the Antichrist, but look at this. So if he's uploading his consciousness to the cloud and having conversations with it, does that make you kind of freaked out about what AI could possibly be? What if AI is a bunch of human test subjects and they just upload all their consciousnesses to the cloud, mix them all together, maybe erase some of their memory, and then now they are the artificial intelligence that we talk to?
What if I told you that some Nazis didn't die and some of the worst ones escaped to South America? Let's talk about it. So it's actually a pretty well-known fact that after World War II, a lot of Nazis and ranking officers escaped to South America so that they wouldn't have to go through the Nuremberg trials. Just to go over it briefly for anyone who might not know or might not remember, the Nuremberg trials were a set of court trials that were held by the Allied powers after World War II to basically persecute the remaining Nazis, or some of the remaining Nazis, for war crimes. But here's where everything gets interesting. So again, for anybody who might not know, during the Nazis' rule over a lot of Europe, there was actually a doctor. His name was Josef Mengele. He was also known as the Doctor of Death or the Angel of Death. But what's fascinating about Dr. Mengele is that he was actually a firm believer, much like Hitler, in the idea of eugenics, or basically creating the perfect race using really fucked up genetic studies. And there were a lot of people, specifically Jews and a lot of people put into the concentration camps, who were actually subjects of Dr. Mengele. And a lot of what Mengele was trying to do was actually to breed out imperfections in humanity to create the perfect white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed race, to create the perfect Aryan race. And a part of his studies actually involved the study of twins. Dr. Mengele was a firm believer that twins were entirely genetic, and actually later in life and later in the world, we also realized that twins do have a genetic component. If a lot of people in your family tend to have twins, you're more likely to have twins. Or if you're a man, you're more likely to foster the creation of twins. Now here's where it gets really fucking interesting. This place in Brazil, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name because I can't, is also known as the Twins Town or the Village of Twins. And like I said earlier, it's a known fact that a lot of Nazis who escaped the Nuremberg trials fled to South America. Some of the countries they fled to were Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina. What's interesting about this place specifically, though, is that they have an alarmingly or abnormally high rate of twin births in this town for an unknown reason. Nobody's actually been able to say why this town specifically fosters so many pairs of twins. And it's not necessarily a genetic thing because obviously not everybody in the town is related. So there's actually a theory that Dr. Mengele escaped to this place and he continued his research, and that's why there are so many twins, because he was researching on the locals there. But here's where it gets scary. But for me to continue, I have to go into a part 2, and I'm really sorry guys, but trust me, it's worth it. So look out for part 2.
Hey, what stage of capitalism is this?
The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure. So some of the things that we're doing is first messaging. We got to reach the consumer where they are. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable.
I'm all for innovation and marketing, but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now, Carl.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal. Yeah! Cereal. Yeah!
This is not fake, and if you do this, your head is literally about to become like this. Now, if you're a gamer, you're probably going to want to watch this video. So a while ago, scientists actually predicted what the future gamer is going to look like with these photos. Basically showing everybody with hunchbacks and weird body features, including essentially this great big line in their head. Well, an indent. Now, of course, they predicted this, and it's actually come true. So a few Twitch streamers, including the first one who did this, Curtis, when he shaved his head on live stream and literally showed an indent in his head, sparking of course lots of other gamers and people to come out and do this on live stream as well, showing a great big indent in their heads. Now of course, causing this, headsets. People, you know, these gamers will have headsets on all day long. Now if you're in school, you come home from school, play games all day, you may even have one yourself. Now this has become a pretty big thing and is reported that, you know, hundreds of thousands of people are getting this worldwide already. However, there has been reports that potentially once you stop wearing the headset, it does actually go away and become normal again, but we don't know. But lots of gamers now worldwide are stopping to to use headsets, even though, of course, they're extremely popular and people love them. But yeah, we don't know for sure the actual consequences of this. But as I said, it's likely that it does return to normal after a while, so we'll have to see. Hit that follow button, and I'll go.
First of all, Epstein had this crazy place in New York City.
7-story palace.
That the guy who owned Victoria's Secrets, he gave it to him?
Yeah, because of probably blackmail. Bill Gates. Bill Gates stays there and tried to deny it, but Bill Gates denies staying with Epstein, but confirmed he stayed there and in his Paris home.
He met with him post his first arrest, correct?
Yes.
Because he was arrested.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Chelsea Handler had dinner with him, I believe, after the arrest, too. I mean, a lot of people looked past that, apparently.
Yeah, British royal.
Okay, Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein many times despite his past. And where are they getting all the money, first of all? Where's he getting the money to get this island?
He was also the money manager for a guy named Les Wexner, who's a billionaire who owns Victoria's Secret, The Limited, among other things.
And that's the guy
He was gifting Epstein a property. He gave him a $70
Well, that's
million
where he got some of the first money.
You might recognize this painting, The Girl with a Pearl Earring, but did you know the story of this girl is haunting? Her name is Florique Rimjic. She was only 19 years old when Dutch artist Johannes Vermeer painted her. But Johannes wanted the painting to depict an imaginary girl, so he murdered Florique and tried to cover up her existence. He did it very successfully. Many art scholars still believe this painting to be an imaginary woman, but recently Dutch historians have found evidence of the girl's existence through diary entries and other paintings of a similar-looking girl.
There's huge conspiracy theories about the Denver airport. It's huge. There's giant bunkers for like the end of the world for the elite to come and stay safe after everybody else dies. There's a giant horse statue, and people say it symbolizes the apocalypse and the end of the world because it has bright red glowing eyes. The artist that designed it, during the construction of the horse, a piece of the horse fell off, landed on him, cut his leg off, and he bled to death. And so people say this thing is obviously evil because even the guy who constructed it died from it.
Here's some of the greatest conspiracy theories of all time. Part 5. Many families have come to know and love the movie WALLE, the adorable robot that goes on an adventure through space. Many times throughout the film, it is made clear that WALL-E stores spare parts to fix himself. It's assumed that he takes them from the deactivated WALL-Es since they no longer need them. But how exactly did they deactivate if they are made to roam the planet forever? This theory states that the other robots kept stealing WALL-E's collection of items because they were still in their default programming. Much like when WALL-E was reset and did the same. WALL-E eventually got sick of it and broke all of the other robots in various ways, such as crushing them with trash cubes and taking their parts for salvage.
With many different resets and many different civilizations, the question is, how long has this been going on? And have we done all of this before? So, this artifact was found in South America, and he seems to be wearing the first deep sea diving equipment. This is found on a temple in India, and she looks like she's on a tablet, and she looks like she's on her phone. And the origin of this artifact is unknown, but it seems to be the first QR scanner. And this is from ancient Rome, and that looks like a laptop with a USB connection. And he looks like he's on a PC. These were found on a 1,000-year-old mummy, and they're known to be the first ever pair of Adidas trainers. And ancient Sumerians with a nuclear...
Lots of people will tell you that you need to open your pineal gland, but nobody tells you how to do it. So in this video, we're going to do all that and more in under 3 minutes. The most important skill you can have to make sure that your spiritual journey is fruitful is to understand the difference between healthy spirituality and toxic spirituality. It's really easy to get lost in spirituality because you have so many different people trying to sell you so many different ideas, and barely any of them tell you how any of it works. Let's use the pineal gland as an example. People are constantly saying that you need to open your pineal gland and activate it. But no one ever tells you what that means exactly, mostly because they're just repeating what they heard from somebody else. Fortunately, both those things are true. You absolutely need to open and activate your pineal gland, but we need to explain what that means. To open your pineal gland means to decalcify and defluoridate. How do we do that? 1. Stop drinking tap water because most tap water in America has fluoride in it. 2, get yourself a nano-hypoxyapatite toothpaste so there's no fluoride in that either. A great brand is Boca, B-O-K-A. Next, you're going to want to do things to facilitate the decalcification and defluoridation of your pineal gland. So why is there such a heavy focus on getting these things out of the pineal gland as opposed to anywhere else in the body? Well, that's twofold. For one, the pineal gland is soft tissue. Now, when you're not getting enough vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and magnesium along with calcium, the calcium doesn't know where to go, and it gets stuck in soft tissue throughout your body. What's interesting about the pineal gland that separates it from the rest of the body is it's the first place that the calcium wants to go. Scientists have additionally discovered that there's a correlating relationship between fluoride and calcium in the pineal gland. The more calcium in there, the more fluoride wants to be there. The more fluoride in there, the more calcium wants to be there. So it actually has almost like an exponential effect where it accrues more and more in your pineal gland as you have more of it in there. So once you get the calcium and the fluoride out of the pineal gland and get the calcium and fluoride to where it needs to be in the body, your pineal gland will start pumping blood and having more electricity flow through it, which will allow it to take on one of its primary functions, the metabolizing of dimethyltryptamine, the spirit molecule. Now, unfortunately, there hasn't been enough scientific research to prove that DMT is in fact a window to the other world. People like myself, Dr. Richard Strassman, and hundreds if not thousands of mystics across the ages all believe that DMT is the spirit molecule and the pineal gland is your spiritual organ. When you start metabolizing DMT, that is why you have clairvoyance. That is why you have lucid dreams and astral projection. If you like what you just heard and you're interested in learning more...
These are scary what-if theories. What if everything behind you disappears, but when you look back, it reappears? What if our shadows were warning us about something in the dark because they disappear in it? What if you're the only person left on Earth and everyone and everything around us are just imaginary people and things we've made up so that we don't feel lonely? What if every time you think you hear your name being called, it's actually just your family trying to wake you up from a coma? What if the meteor that killed the dinosaurs was actually a UFO and we're the aliens? These are crazy what-if theories. What if air is actually poisonous, it's just taking 80 years to kill us? What if the reason we can't walk through mirrors is because our reflection is blocking us because they want to protect us from the other side? What if birthmarks are the places that actually killed us in our past lives? What if dreams are reality and reality as we know it is a dream?
He's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. These are the people that used to hang out at this place, and they would put on robes, and they would worship an owl god, and they would burn an effigy. And they're playing, and Alex snuck in and made video footage of this shit. And no one's denying that it's real. This really did happen. They're in with these bankers and former presidents, and they're dressed like druids.
Yes.
And some guy brings over something it's an effigy that's supposed to be a body, a wrapped up effigy. It's also a bunch of sticks in a blanket, but it's like shaped like a body.
Yeah.
And then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god. This place where like former presidents go. There's a photograph of Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around.
The more I dug into it, I realized that the Black Knight satellite, this object, is still orbiting our planet right now. NASA, it's on NASA's server. They call it space junk. They don't know what it is. It's been there. The STS-88 mission did a flyby and caught a great HD image of this thing. It's about estimated 15 tons.
It's in our orbit.
Oh yeah, it's in our orbit.
So it's not far out. It's not outer space.
No, it's at Lagrange point 4, I believe.
Okay.
And it's orbiting out there, and it's still there. They won't mess with it because it makes no sense to mess with it. You don't know what type of self-defense system or mechanism this thing may have. But the reason why I think it's important, based on what you were telling me about the gentleman, is because I believe that this thing is watching us. That's what the whole documentary is about. And I have 20 incredible researchers in the documentary, including quantum physicists in the documentary with me, and astrophysicists. I think it's watching us, and I believe that it's using quantum entanglement to transmit everything in real time, what's going on Earth, back to home base at Boetis. And that this could be the gravity civilization that you're talking about.
Tesla never said the key to the universe was 369. No. He said that the key to the universe was 36912. They removed the 12 from that formula.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's they? Okay.
Whoever you want to, whoever you want to call that actually wants to manipulate and control humanity, right?
Okay.
So why is it ancient cultures used, the base 12, base 60 mathematics, like the Sumerians, the ancient Mayans, the Egyptians, the Dogons? They all used a form of base 12 mathematics. I mean, even in the Apple TV series Foundation, have you heard of that series Foundation? Isaac Asimov's series it's called Foundation. It's brilliant, actually. It's on Apple TV.
Okay.
They talk about base 60 mathematics, right? Which is a form of base 12. Why weren't we taught that in school? Why are we taught base 10? Right? And I started, asking these questions after my near-death experience. Well, shit, man, the 12 is an organic number. It's the way the ancient cultures used to teach. Well, what if I applied base 12 ratios, algorithms to the Rasha? So that's all I did. And that's why we've gotten the results that we've gotten, because it talks to the DNA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and those results that you got, right?
Oh yeah.
The development prototype, then the next stage was one of the fascinating things that I researched about you or heard about you was autistic. The first.
Yes.
Was that your first like small sample size autistic kids?
Yeah. Dear friends of mine, had an autistic son. Yes.
Powerful.
Clearly, Carnival in Brazil just happened, and if you remember my video from last year, it was probably the most demonic and blasphemous thing you have ever seen. People who saw that video couldn't even believe their own eyes. I mean, the floats, Jesus being dragged on the floor, demons elevating from graves, I mean, the list goes on. And this year, it was a lot of the same. Something that I noticed this year is that it was very hard to find footage of the actual carnival. I spent hours watching live streams on YouTube and compiled all of the clips that I could find. Now, I'm sure a lot of these floats represent cultural traditions, but some of these things just went too far, like Jesus Christ being tripped up and tossed around by people in devil horns, a float that literally looks like an Illuminati float, and I have no idea what this is, but if anyone has an idea, please let me know. One thing I did notice is that there were snakes and serpent on like every other float, but it wasn't as bad as last year. Maybe the flood that they got the weekend after made them want to tone things down a little bit, but still the energy at this carnival every year just looks so dark to me, and I just don't understand how there's so many people.
I don't accept cash, and you made my sandwich and you're just gonna throw it away.
I didn't know you were gonna pay cash.
Can I just have my sandwich now?
No, I'm not gonna risk my job for you.
You're not gonna what?
I'm not gonna risk my job for you.
Because you don't accept money?
No, because you can't pay.
I have cash.
Yeah, we can't accept it today, as I told you.
Oh, this is gonna be funny for your manager.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything for you.
You what?
I'm not gonna do anything for you. I can't accept cash today. I'm not gonna give you a free sandwich and risk my job for you. So you can go ahead and leave. Talk to my manager if you want. They're not gonna do a damn thing for you. You can talk to them all you want.
Oh, yeah, because you don't accept cash.
Just today, as I said, circumstances. You can't give up change today, so I'm not allowed to accept cash today.
Hey, you. You ever heard of anything like this?
I mean, yeah, I know. When it's the system's down and everything, it's like, yeah, it's just policy.
If you can just favor, quit wasting our time, just go. There's nothing we can do for you.
Quit wasting. You're gonna kick me out because I have money.
No, as I've said, we can't accept it today. Like, what do you want me to do?
God, you people are ridiculous. Are you real?
Like, it's just circumstances. What do you want me to do about it?
Okay, so you're going to throw food in the garbage because somebody walks in with money to buy the food they ordered, and you... Oh my God.
Like, I'm sorry, I can't give you a free sandwich, alright? Look, I can't accept your cash, but I can't change in the safe, as I've said already. There's nothing more I can do for you, and that's it.
Of course. No, I hope you enjoy your free sandwich, because I know you're going to eat it, right?
No, I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to trash it, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Throw it in the trash?
Yes.
Do you accept Bitcoin?
What? Like, no. You take card. Apple Pay, Google Pay. So we can't accept cash today.
What?
I'm not trying to kick you out. As I've said, we just...
No, you're fine. I just don't know how to handle this situation. I've waited years for this to happen.
For what to happen?
This exact moment. It just blows my mind. It's utterly comical. I want to enjoy it a little bit. There you go. Tap on your screen. Oh, can I have that? That's the receipt from the order?
This actually got to list this to cancel order.
Yeah, can I have that though?
No.
Why not?
This will go in the back. We need it for our records.
For what?
For our records.
Your records of what?
To keep everything in record for all canceled orders.
Okay. For all canceled orders. Digital currency. It's really screwed over America, hasn't it? Thank you for that. That was the epitome. Well, that's what the climax was, the story.
Again, I do apologize today for the extra cash for the hurt.
Weird stuff in the mountains, but today I found the thing that takes the cake. I have absolutely no idea what it is. If it is something religious and you know, let me know. Because I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I just think it's creepy, cool, and weird. And it was thrown down the side of a mountain, so, But if someone's like, that's this very I tried looking up concrete-filled conch shell with shell face. That got me absolutely nowhere. I'm not, but yeah, I love it, but I don't want to offend anyone by taking their conch man. So let me.
Elderly dog, right? You remember that show?
Yeah.
It's based on a true story.
How's that?
You know the house, right?
Yeah.
It's in New Mexico. There was once like 2 elderly people that lived there, and they reportedly were seeing like a bunch of scary shit, like monsters and shit like that. And they claimed them to be skinwalkers. And if you didn't know, skinwalkers can take on the persona of anything that they eat or kill. Apparently the police went there, the old people were gone, and all they found was the dead dog.
What's happened to the parents?
Nobody knows, it just disappeared.
And there's like a theory of like, it was about the monuments, the Lincoln Looker, the Washington Tower, and like the Statue of Liberty and all that. And it's like that there's these creatures inside of them, and like they feed on people and stuff like that. And people get like kidnapped and brought to these things, and they like power the underground systems of like what the top people got going on. Like it's a crazy ass thing, even though it's based on like an alternate universe. It fucked me up. Basically trying to say like it's not happening here. There can be very well certain parts to it or components that are true.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously change your life. This photo shows the scariest conspiracy theories in the world. Now, as I'm sure you know, in this series we're going through from the least scary to the ones that will literally change your life. Now, if you're easily scared, do not watch this, and with that said, let's kick off part 9. When I say this is mental, I mean it. So this is by far the craziest one, yeah? So today we're going to be speaking about the higher governments. We all know there's a government, you've got your politicians, your presidents, everything. But what if there's someone above that? Almost like the Illuminati. Let's take a look. So this right here is the philosophical theory of Plato's cave. I know it sounds confusing, but stick with me. Basically, take a look at the diagram. So basically the projection on the walls of the media and what we see, we're the people sitting down. And the people behind it are the higher government. So like I've said, that's the theory. So what we're seeing is just the outside, the government. But behind that, what we can't see, there's something higher actually going on. Kind of makes sense? Right, stick with me. Now moving on, we've got this place called Bohemian Grove, which is where high-ranking government officials, politicians and everything go every year. It's a very top secret meeting, but no one really knows what takes place here. The theory is it is a meeting to do with Illuminati or a higher government. And moving on, I guarantee you did not know this. There is actually a secret passageway behind Mount Rushmore. It's physically impossible to get in because there's this massive slab in front of it, but it's estimated behind here is the Hall of Records, which literally contains all of the secrets of America. Mental, isn't it? There is of course tons of stuff that we don't know and stuff going on in the world constantly. Theories suggest that it can't just be the president and politicians behind everything. So maybe there is some kind of higher government out there. They're controlled by the governments we see, and they are controlled by the governments that they see. Mental, let me know in the comments what you think.
Some breaking news that we've been following today. Sources tell ABC News the FBI and Department of Homeland Security are investigating the cause of a massive nationwide cell phone outage. Officials are working to determine if the service disruption is the result of a cyber attack, a hack, or simply a technical malfunction. AT&T customers are slowly now coming back online after thousands of those cell phones went down earlier this morning. The cellular outage affected phones all across the country, with thousands of users reporting issues in cities including New York, Houston, Chicago, and San Francisco. AT&T tells ABC News, quote, some of our customers are experiencing wireless service interruptions this morning. Our network teams took immediate action, and so far 3/4 of our network has been restored. We're working as quickly as possible to restore service to remaining customers. Verizon and T-Mobile said they are not experiencing...
Sorry, what is happening? What is happening? Nah. A satellite is going to smash into Earth. That sounds good, doesn't it? So, this satellite right here, known as ERS-2, was launched almost 30 years ago, which is pretty crazy. And apparently this satellite is now out of control. Yeah, great way to reassure us. Cheers, NASA. Honestly. So this satellite is now literally up in the atmosphere, out of control apparently, God knows what's going on. Just to make it a bit better, it's hurtling towards Earth. Absolutely brilliant. NASA have said that it will break up into millions of smaller pieces as it enters the atmosphere. Luckily, some of them will essentially burn before they actually reach the ground. But it is going to enter the atmosphere, and at some point, some of it is going to smash into the Earth. Where is that going to be? Now this is the scary bit. Brilliant. So apparently there is a 2,500 chance that the satellite may land on your head. Yeah, they actually said that. What? Because of course there will be so many scattered pieces, it will be falling down to Earth at such a high speed. There is, a fairly high chance that it will land on someone. Or at least one of these pieces will. So yeah, just make sure that's...
It was apparently first used by the military to gather information from the battlefield. It's called smart dust, but this technology can be used soon to track anything, including you and everyone else. It's a powdered-sized chip. Oh, and it doesn't require a battery. They can be spread around like dust, have it sitting on your skin, or even inhaled without you even realizing, monitoring you in and out. And get this, they're undetectable in your body. Now with this technology fused with AI, they can start to understand people better than we understand our own selves. And in that way, can manipulate us in ways that was previously impossible.